Greetings, this is Jim, and I'm going to do a slop in the shop. Hey, I'm doing this a little unusual this time instead of being seated in the shop. I'm going to give you some updates and some things. So come right along while we feed the pigs. Hope you enjoy it. I'm outside today. It's a pretty late November day here in North Carolina. It's actually fairly good shirt sleeve weather. So with no further ado, hey, let's move right on into feeding these piggies. Good morning, this is Jim, part of the Slop series. I'm working on a race car a little bit. This is one of the front fenders, by the way. And this is right here is the other piece of it. It's nothing but aluminum. You'll notice they kind of look kind of cruddy. They've been beat up. I'm going to do some riveting, so I'm going to show you. Let me back up, man. I'm going to show you how that riveter works. So that's part of what I'm doing for Slop. I've got you where you can see. What I've done is I've kind of just laid this rivet up on the workbench, and because we're riveting in aluminum, we like to use backing washers, so I've got one up underneath. Yeah. That's all there is to it. Then what I'm going to do here is kind of work my way around. You get one in it to sort of hold it, and this stuff's bent up so bad. It's rather difficult to get together once you bend this stuff up like it gets bent up. Because obviously what's happened, this is on the race car. Race car got wrecked and beat up and twisted around, so nothing lines up. Obviously when you build these things to begin with, I don't know how many of you watch racing videos of any kind. Probably a lot of you don't. If you do, you watch people like Hunt the Front or whatever. They're all the time getting new sheet metal from somebody. Well, it's a lot easier to bend this stuff straight up, I'm telling you, than having to do what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and get the other end tacked in, and I'll bring you back when I get the fender done, but you see how the gun works. Okay, here's another shot of that fender. Excuse me, you might see my back, and we'll try not to. Let me turn the viewfinder around where I can watch, see if I can get out of the view. What I'm having to do is basically beat the fender into place so I can line these rivets up to get the original bend as close as I can. And you're going to be gaps, so what we may do is put extra rivets in it. We don't know yet, but we'll get all the original ones in first. See if we can get that to come. I've still got some weld right there in that corner. What it does, when that weld broke, it broke my insert. Let me get power pliers. Okay, one of the things, I guess this is probably a perfect opportunity here. You see, I had a little accident. Well, you see how it bent this screw, adjusted screw. Now, what I've always used, well, that ain't the one I want, that's 8. Oh, here's quarter 20. So, when I build these tools, I always use quarter 20 rods. And a lot of people question it, saying, well, in a case like this, yeah, it ain't strong enough. I'd rather have that quarter 20 rod to bend a little bit like this than I had to have any other major damage. Now, the thing is, I use a marine Loctite, so I've got to heat this up, break the bond, and then go get me a pair of vice grips and pull it out. Propane torch works better, but I don't have no gas in any of my propane torches. All you want to do is heat it up to break that bond to that Loctite. Get it hot enough where you can't touch it. So a good heat gun will work. Now you see it just turns right out. Well, it would turn right out if I had the vise held good and tight. Just hold the vise. This is my soft jaw vise, by the way, so it just backs it. Let me get it tighter. I'm bad not to trank down and stuff. All right, there you go. So you see, this comes right out. You can see the Loctite. So this breaks the bond. And I'm going to tell you, I'll show you here in just a second. Drop the stuff. I'd much rather this stuff here to bend than something to break. So now all I got to do is just reassemble it right quick with fresh threaded rod and everything, and then we just readjust it. But we'll see, with using this allows it to, lack of a better word, this allows it something like I made that mistake. See how much pressure this is, and that gives something to give. So sometimes you want something to give instead of breaking. Hey, now this is a simple matter of putting it back together. Then let's just recenter everything. So okay, we'll have to reconvene over to the lathe and reset the center. Probably going to go ahead and re-square the tool block up too while we're at it. I'm not going to bore you with that. Hey, the first thing I'm going to show you is the shop, some updates to the shop, and some of it's, a lot of it you've seen before. One of these, this is a shop outside, I think you've seen it before. You see these heavier hooks that's hanging down here at the doors right here. These, it has heavier hooks. I ran into the problem with the light hooks I had holding the doors closed during the wind. So that's the first little update we've got. Going around the corner, I've got some junk stored, and I still got some extra metal. I haven't got the trim on the building yet. But the other thing I'm going to show you is the air system. This is the back wall of the machine shop right here. This line was originally hooked to that reel. So what I can do is I can turn this valve on. You'll notice I got an air line buried. Now this is PEX. This is what I use for air line in my other machine shop. I've used it for several years, and it's been a really, really good product. So I really have. So let's go inside the automotive or race car shop. You unlock the door. First thing you're going to notice, we got lights too. My brother-in-law finished hooking the power up, so now we have service into the building. Now one of the things you'll notice if you'll look here, you'll see the how we've done the electric. There's 3 outlets on this wall. This is a future 220 for a welder or whatever. I'm not planning on moving the machine shop in this building. Eventually I'm going to have it spray insulated. That'll take some of the noise out of it. But right above the power, you'll notice that blue PEX line. Now, there will be a change. Here, I'm going to put a reel on the outside of this building. But you'll notice kind of over my pictures and around, as I walk around through the building, is I've got junk in here too, and I need to do some rearranging. The race car fits in here kind of tight. As you noticed, I had to scoot between it. And so you'll see there comes the line. I left a little slack. I tried not to put as many 90s on this end. So right now I've got 4 or 5 air fittings. And I've got a couple of extras I can put in if I want. So right now, so there's 2 on this side and 1 on the back wall. Again, you'll notice how the insulation's working. My tire machine, it was plugged up and I was running it. In fact, there it is. This is an older tire I had, and I worked on it, and I'm gonna work on it some more. I've got it wrapped. Needs to set about 3 days or 4 like this before. So here comes the line around, and you'll notice it runs right outside the wall. What that allows me to do is I only can use the 1 air compressor that I have outside. Let me turn this around. So what that's going to do is let me use my 1 air compressor, the one that's behind the machine shop, and it will feed both shops. It's powered through the other shop, obviously. It's just 110 volt. It's not no real fancy, mainly just for air to blow stuff off with and things like that. So we use it quite a lot, and that's what it's for. So just to show you, see there, I ain't cut those extra off my wire wraps there neither. I done this morning, by the way. See if you want to see, this is my Cobalt air compressor that will run both shops. And see if you'll notice it runs lines, goes right up into the old shop. I gotta go inside and pick up some stuff, so we'll be right back. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. This is a copyright production of James Dedman, Sawlogs Plastic Hubs, for your entertainment, enjoyment, viewing pleasure. I know I hadn't put out a slop in a while, and I'll probably sit down in the morning, or maybe even after Thanksgiving, before I edit this thing up. I've got some other stuff and I need to unload it. So I just thought I'd put this together, show you the update on that shop. Now it is complete except insulation and trim. The trim, we will bend it soon. My friend that does the race car metal is going to bend some trim out of the leftover sheet metal. I've already cut it, and once we finish that, we'll be done. And here's the outside of the machine shop. I got to go in there and get some tools out. One other thing is, eventually I'm going to move some tools, and I got to do some cleaning in the machine shop, or in actually the race car shop. All right, so like, subscribe, comment on the video. Just kind of keep us filled in. Hey, yuns all have a great, wonderful day. We'll see you in the next video.